Hi, my name is Mark Igloliorte. I'm about to talk about some new work that I have at Bailey Fine Arts. So this series that I did around collaboration was exhibited in Winnipeg for the Arctic Art Summit, and the Inuit Art Studies Conference. And here's a new series of paintings for around berry picking, inspired by the fall and just like that feeling in the air of like when you berry pick in Labrador. So I just went through the different berries. So we got blueberries at the top, red berries or partridge berries, crowberries or blackberries, and then cloudberries or bake apples. And so I was just thinking about like that feeling of being out picking berries either by myself or in community or with my family, and just making boards using that color scheme and trying to get like that feeling of like being on the land and just foraging and having a good time. So with each of these, there's the obvious like color combinations of the berry and the leaves, and so the green is different slightly in each one based on the leaves. And then I tried to pull out with the drop shadow some of the more subtle colors that you would see. So you can see the blueberry, there's like this pink drop shadow, which you might find in like an unripened berry. And then in the red berry one, we've got like this yellow, which is like some of the twigs like develop in that color. There's a bit of a very subtle rust color behind the blackberries, which is how the leaves turn when the fruit is ripe. And when the bake apple opens up, it also has like these pink, it's not the leaves, but whatever was protecting the fruit just before it is ripe to pick. So it was really fun for me to play with all of these different colors and think about the fruit and the importance of like being part of a community that is all kind of like sharing all this different stuff from the land and having that activity of doing it together, like gathering all the different berries. Then behind me, this collaborative work is that what I wanted to do is some of you were here in the exhibition in September of 2021, and then that time I had a gray wall over here, which Pat had asked me if I would like to do, because this was like our pastel series of works that were very much about creativity, language, skateboarding, education. I was looking at a lot of different words around the process of learning things, but I was thinking about it almost very individualistically, like as from myself as a learner or myself as an educator. And so through a couple of recent projects, working with Dr. Julie Nagum for the Arctic XR, as well as with my sister, Dr. Igloliorte, in doing film production, it was a very collaborative process of like discussing the nature of the film with all of the different like participants or all the different members of the team in terms of like making a film. And so that collaborative process, and paired with also working with Dr. Julie Nagum for Nuit Blanche 2022 and doing the Septembre Fisher Skateboard Plaza, was a very collaborative process, working with them as an artistic director, but also working with the different support at the City of Toronto, and then also with the contractors, Drizzle Entertainment that did the skateboard bill. It was such a collaborative process that I was thinking about continuing this series of creative boards, but focusing more on the collaborative aspect of it, or working in teams with people. So speaking of the gray wall, this board right here, it translates into gray wall. And so this one is specifically for Pat, who proposed that arrangement. And then speaking of Dr. Nagum, their work is right here, and the color scheme very much inspired by their personality and the way that they are in the world. And so this one is Giant Nookshuk, which was my original ironic proposal for Nuit Blanche 2022, and that, yeah, instead of a Saputi fish weir, it was going to be a Giant Nookshuk skateboard plaza, which was just an idea to get the ball rolling. But it was like, I'm sure all of you in Inuit art are familiar with Inukshuk and how prevalent it is in Canadian cultural landscape, I guess. And so I wanted to do something different, but I also had to get the ball rolling. So some other collaborative pieces here. This one is with my research assistant Colin, who helped paint some of these boards. When I was coordinating with them, they said, you know, like, I was be like, okay, when are you available? And said, well, after I get out of the gym in the morning. And so this is determination in the morning, and I really love that their kind of determination to keep their gym practice going, and that kind of like special time in the morning that it happens afterwards. So what else do we have here? Oh, this one's special. It's my father, and then working with planks of the komatik, or the sled that goes behind the like a snowmobile or dog team. And my father taught me how to plane the runners of komatik, which has been an important part of a lot of my art pieces. And so kind of like sharing that experience with him, I was happy to make this board about it. Maybe I'll just tell like one more story that was kind of funny. My first exhibition outside of my grad studies was with Donald Brown, who's a gallerist in Montreal, and we were having a phone conversation about the paintings that I was going to have, and at the time I was working at Indigenous and Northern Affairs, and I dipped into the stairwell to have this conversation with them, and they were like, okay, you got your first solo show coming up. He's like, what do you think that you have for this exhibition? I was like, I've got these 8 small diptych pairs of paintings, and on the other end of the phone he went, I've got kind of a big gallery. So this translates into teak suck. So thinking about that moment with Donald, although Donald was a wonderful gallerist to have, he was in business, he got out of the art business after a while, but I really appreciate all of the support that I got from Donald, and that show actually sold out and was a big success. So, but I do remember that somewhat awkward conversation about the show. So, in addition to these boards, we also have a video, which is screened just over here. Related to the exhibition here, part of what I did with this is to spray paint for the camera, and I was working with the gradient of the sky at sunset to get this lovely like orange and blue color combination. And I wanted to kind of think about skateboarding, like the indigenous connections, and in order to put that into a film, we went and filmed at the ice road outside of Yellowknife. One of the skateboarders is Joe Buffalo, professional skateboarder for Vans skateboard shoes and colonialism skateboards. Joe was able to like take a dog team ride while he was out on this film shoot, which he said was like a dream for him, or I guess I should say on his bucket list. We had a lot of fun having a day out on the ice, and then just like getting to like get to know one another, hang out with the dogs, and then afterwards we went and had boil up, or like a cup of tea. And what I was thinking about, like the something interesting about like skateboarding and also different indigenous land practices, is there's the activity like hunting or fishing, but then there's also the social portion where you go and you have tea together. Skateboarding is kind of the same in that there's the activity where you're skateboarding, but it's also incredibly social as well. And so I wanted to think about those two things, like in terms of like Indigenous skateboarding, which there's a number of Indigenous skateboarders like Joe, like myself, that skateboarding is an important part of our identity, including our indigeneity. And it was just fun to kind of put this video together with Dr. Nagam, Dr. Igloliorte, and then the skaters Joe, Joel, and Rael, and then to think about my painting practice while I was doing it, which also involves skateboarding.
Just like my Gokum used to make.
Hey, Ariel. Yeah? You want some tea?
You made tea?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Feel like a dibble.
Oh, yeah? I'm good, thanks.
I had all kinds of anxiety with lighting the fire. I was like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna get razzed pretty hard.
I don't know who would have started with me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, you got lucky.
I really appreciate being represented by Failing Fine Arts and all the support that I get here for my practice. it means a lot to me to be welcomed in Toronto and accommodated while I was here for Nuit Blanche. So thank you to everybody at the gallery, and thank you all for coming.
It's over.